Hello, welcome to Beatrice Weekly Health Tips. Today I'm going to talk about how to introduce food to baby. This is a very important subject. I talked about healthy pregnancies last week and about vaccines or not. And this subject, introduction of food, is very crucial because the future digestive system slash immune system of your child depends on that, depends on how he's going to digest the food that you're going to introduce to him. So it's very important to not make mistakes, and a lot of misconceptions are existing in that area. If you want to have detailed information on this subject, you can go to the Weston Price Foundation and website and look at the details. You'll see and you'll find tons of articles that are talking about baby food introduction. So it's westonaprice.org. So what is the ideal food of the newborn? I think you already know that this is milk from the mother. Ideally, your baby needs to be breastfed, and ideally, you want to breastfeed your baby about until age 2. And of course, he's not going to eat only your breast milk, but it's important to keep the breast milk going even when you introduce food, because this helps your baby to build up his or her immune system. And of course, there are many other aspects that are very positive about breastfeeding, which includes the emotional, psychological component to reassure your baby. So then what do you do? Ideally, your baby is going to be breastfed only, just uniquely, from his first day on earth and until about 4 months. That's the very minimum that you want to breastfeed exclusively. Because all the milk that you're going to find out there are not appropriate. If it's cow milk, the chances are that it's pasteurized, homogenized. It comes from animals that are not healthy, and it's full of hormones and it's full of antibiotics. So you don't want to buy regular cow milk. You don't want to ideally put your baby on baby formula, because when you look at the composition of the baby formula, you'll be horrified. The very first ingredient in baby's formula are sugar. And it's not just sugar, it is high fructose corn syrup. So if you want to have a baby that will develop later diabetes, obesity, and cardiovascular disease, then go ahead and use those. I know this is what is recommended by pediatrician, but I really don't agree on that. So you want to breastfeed your baby. At 4 to 6 months, you can start introducing egg yolks. Egg yolks are rich, very rich food in folic acid, in B vitamin, in A and D and E vitamins. And these liposoluble vitamins are very important for the development of your baby's brain and your baby's nervous system and your baby's immune system. So you can just poach an egg and just start to give baby a little teaspoon or half of a teaspoon of an egg yolk that is lukewarm. See if he likes it. If he doesn't, then you wait and you try a week or 2 or 3 weeks later. The thing is not to push anything, just to introduce food little by little. Let him taste it. Let's see the reaction. And if it goes well, you can give him more. If it doesn't go well, then you wait and you introduce it later. 4 to 6 months, you can also start to introduce mashed banana. It can be cooked or not. It can be raw, but if it's raw, it has to be well ripe. You want to see the black dots on the banana skin. You can also smash apple. And that's about it for the first few months of food introductions. What I also recommend to every single parent and every single baby is a 1/4 teaspoon of fermented cod liver oil. This cod liver oil, again, is bringing all the vitamins necessary for brain, nervous system, immune system, bone development, and everything else. So 4 to 6 months, you keep breastfeeding and you introduce egg yolk, a little bit of banana, and a little bit of apple, and your fermented cod liver oil. That's it. Around the age of 6 to 8 months, and of course this is different for every child, you continue the breastfeeding, you continue the egg yolks and the banana and the apple, and you can introduce a little bit of cooked liver. You can buy organic chicken livers, cook them, puree them, and again, try with a teaspoon, see if it goes. If it doesn't go in a teaspoon, you can dilute a little bit of that in a baby bottle with your milk and mix it with the milk. If that goes well, the next thing to introduce is meat. You want to take, for example, hamburger meat and cook it in broth and puree it and try to give that to baby. Again, it can be diluted in a little bit of milk, or because we're cooking that meat in broth, you can dilute it in broth. Broth is very healthy, very easy for your baby to digest, and you should start to introduce broth also around the age of 6 to 8 months. If all that goes well, then we start pureed vegetables. Ideally, you want to cook your vegetables in the broth and then smash them, puree them, and mix it with or without the meat. And smashed fruit. So you were doing banana, you can do pear, you can start to introduce a little bit of avocado, again smashed and pureed. And also in the dairy section, you want to start trying dairy, as in fermented dairy, kefir or yogurt. You need to do your own yogurt. They need to be well fermented over 8 to 12 hours. If it's too sour, you can put a little bit of honey in there, just pure, non-transformed honey, not the any kind of store honey, you know, with the little bare bottle. This is just junk. You need a real honey. And try to make your kefir. Well, hopefully you already make your kefir. Try to give it to baby. Little teaspoons at a time. See how it goes. See if he likes it. As far as vegetables, you can enlarge the section of vegetables and do zucchini, all the butternut and squashes, and you can start to do sweet potatoes, for example, or yam. And you would again cook them in broth, add butter or coconut oil, a little bit of salt for taste, and give that to your baby. Everything at that point, everything is pureed, but after that, around 8 to 10 months, you can start to give baby little pieces of food and let him chew on it, especially if he has teeth. So you continue your purees, you continue your soups, you can start stews where there will be pieces of food. You can start pieces of hard cheeses and give it to him to chew on. And then you can make custards with raw milk or the best quality milk you can find, eggs, egg yolk, and a little bit of honey or vanilla to sweeten it. That would be baby's desserts, and of course you still have fruits that can be an apple sauce or any kind of sauce, but also pieces of fruits that he can chew on. Around the age of 10 to 12 months, this is the time to really push for food in pieces. Your baby needs to chew. That's an important part of the development. So he needs to chew on pieces of food. That could be carrots, avocado, banana, cheese, any kind of food that can be chewed and munched on by your baby. And you continue your cod liver oil, but at that point I give a half teaspoon of cod liver oil. And we will keep giving a half teaspoon to your baby until the age about 3 or 4. After 4, then I give them a teaspoon. And you can basically take fermented cod liver oil for the rest of your life, you and your children. After the age of 12 months, your baby is 1 year old. Hopefully everything went well in his digestive system. No trouble, no colic, no constipation, no diarrhea. If you have a healthy baby and a healthy digestive system, then you can start introducing cereals and legumes. But be very careful. Cereals and legumes are difficult to digest, so they need to be soaked. You want to soak them overnight in water plus vinegar and rinse them very carefully the next day and cook them thoroughly. Then you can start to give it to your baby and see if he likes it. Example would be oatmeal. You would prepare your oatmeal the night before, and then the next day for breakfast you can cook it very quickly and put some raisins or applesauce or banana or cinnamon, whatever your baby likes, and start to give him cereals like that. Legumes, the best is to start with lentils. They're the easiest to digest, especially the red lentils. And if you see that it gives a lot of gas, very stinky gas to your baby, then he's not ready for that. And that's not a problem because you're already feeding your baby the most important food, which are broth, meat, eggs, egg yolk. By the way, your baby now is eating the whole egg, poach, omelette, fried, whatever. He's eating all the good fats, butter, dairy, as in kefir and yogurt and cheese. So if you want to introduce legumes, you can, but it's not mandatory because he really has everything that is needed. After 1 year old, you can also start almond butter or peanut butter or cashew butter. You can start introducing more green vegetables, as in green beans, broccoli. It can be salads if your baby likes it. It can be tomatoes and cucumbers and citrus fruits. We don't introduce citrus fruits before. It's a little bit too difficult for baby's taste, but after 1 year old, you can do clementines and oranges and lemon if he likes it. And that's it. That's how we diversify the food in children. It's very important to follow these steps if you want him or her to have a strong digestive system and to develop a very healthy gut flora. And of course, I forgot to mention something important. You want to keep giving your baby fermented food. I mentioned as in dairy, but you can also start giving baby fermented vegetables juice. We start with the juice and then he can eat the vegetables that are fermented. All this, if you follow this, will constitute or will contribute to a very, very healthy gut flora. And your child will not develop allergy, will not develop food intolerances, will not be fragile for this or that. Try to keep them away from sugar as much as you can. Sugar is not necessary. We have plenty in fruits, a little bit of honey. That's basically all we need. And if you keep feeding your child like that, even if when he goes to school, when he goes to parties, he will be exposed to a lot of junk food, it's not as important because you have laid the foundation at home, feeding your child properly, and you will continue to do that. So if it is from time to time, it's not a big deal. Same for us human beings. We can certainly do exceptions to a diet, and it goes pretty well. if you keep it as an exception. I hope this is helpful. Please let me know if you have any question or comments. Don't hesitate to visit my website and to contact me for further information. Have a great week and thank you for your attention. Bye.